Hello dear listeners, TW here. Join me as I traverse a century of horror cinema, one flick at a time. The 1930s brought about a new wave of science fiction writing, with connections to those even further past from authors as unexpected as Edgar Allan Poe. Yes, really. The 1950s science fiction, aka aliens, atomic threats and flying saucers that were soon to take over popular culture, have their genesis in the 30s wave. This is no more obvious than The Thing from Another World, 1951. The original short story by John W. Campbell, Who Goes There, was the ultimate example of the era, and it was inevitable that there would be a film adaptation. The best occurs with John Carpenter's 1982 classic, and recently National Film Registry indoctrinated film, The Thing. It was a remake of this 1951 film, but is this one also noteworthy? The original story was about an alien life form discovered in the isolated Arctic by a group of men in a base without contact from the outside world. The creature could copy humans perfectly, and it was genuinely one of the greatest horror stories ever penned, as the men give in to paranoia. Who was real? Were the dogs real? Who would be next? The Thing 1951, however, exists in a post-Frankenstein's monster world, notably now about 5 years without a big screen appearance, not counting comedy adaptations. This Thing therefore resembles the past monster, and the paranoia aspect of the original tale and Carpenter's later film are downplayed. Instead, we get a "we're trapped, how do we get away from the monster" scenario, which sadly is rather dated. Most perplexing was the decision to make the Thing a vegetable that drinks blood. A vampire carrot is conceptually bizarre, but thankfully is executed better than it sounds. While effective in its day, the film lacks teeth, establishing a cast of characters that any child of the 80s, post-Aliens 1986, knows is an excuse to up the body count. Instead, the bodies mostly stay on two legs, and the lack of threat as the short runtime evaporates will leave a modern audience disappointed. There are some tense and spectacular scenes, such as setting the creature on fire and the finale itself. Characters turning on one another is present, army versus scientist, but again, not the key focus of the film. There is a pitiable attempt to spice things up with a love interest. Margaret Sheridan plays the love interest to the Kenneth Tobey's officer lead. The players are all fine, but the script lacks punch. The characters talking it out could have been from a post-war procedural. The early setup and location shooting were well done. The sense of building mystery is the film's strength. The film was well received at the time, earning more than other pictures such as The Day the Earth Stood Still. The Thing racked up almost $2 million, which was quite an achievement for a B-cheapie. The film had moderate critical responses and is held in high esteem today. Is there something to recommend? Its lineage is fascinating. That it was inspired by a classic text and resulted in one of the greatest horror films ever made makes this a more than worthy gem for those interested in cinema history. However, the serviceable sets, set pieces, acting and direction are only good, not standout, for anyone wishing to explore. For collectors of horror and film history buffs, this is an essential and enjoyable outing. Enjoy.